Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's show, some news and notes from practice. First off, DeMeco talked about this Sunday and had some interesting things to say about the starters. Also, we've got some notes from practice, some new people out on the field, some people returning, some new faces. We'll break all that down today, and some Texans injury news going down on today's show. So obviously we have a jam-packed show, but little housekeeping. Wouldn't be able to start today's show if I didn't give a warm welcome to the brand new wide receiver for your Houston Texans, number 82, Diontae Johnson. If he comes across this video, I want him to see the amount of love, the amount of support that Texans fans are giving this young man because, hey, this wide receiver room desperately needs some more talent, and he might just be that guy to help propel the Houston Texans. So if he does come across this video, I want him to see thousands of likes on this video. So to welcome this young man, Diontae Johnson, to H-Town, go down, hit that thumbs up icon, maybe spam some 82s down below to welcome in Diontae to Houston. And this is actually what he had to say on joining the Texans after his first practice. He said, "I feel myself fitting in real well. Just knowing CJ a little bit already, just to finally get here and be in the offense with him, it's a blessing. Just his talent that he brings to the game, team first. Everybody's about the team. I'm about the team too, so I'm doing whatever the coaches asked me to do, just contributing in some sort of way. That's all I'm really worried about." And that's all you want to hear if you're a Houston Texans fan. With some new blood coming into the organization, a new wide receiver, a new target for CJ Stroud, you want to hear that the cavalry's coming. Reinforcements are on the way because the past two games for the Texans have not been it. And if Diontae Johnson can even get to a speck of the form that he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, being that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 option, I think this can really turn things around for this Texans offense. Because we've seen in the past, Nico Collins, he's obviously an amazing talent, but he can't do it alone. It can't just be the Nico Collins show. CJ Stroud needs some help from some other guys, and maybe Diontae Johnson is that threat that can maybe take some guys away from Nico Collins and have another option for CJ to slice and dice these defenses. But let me know down in the comments section, scale it 1 to 10, how much of an impact do you think Diontae is going to make on this Texans offense? 1, you don't think it's going to be he'll have 0 catches. You don't think it's going to be an impact at all. 10, you think the Texans might have found a hidden gem off the waiver wire. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm at around a 7, 8. I think he'll be able to come in, be a really good, rotational piece, a guy who can come in and kind of be that second, third option alongside Mechie, Robert Woods, and X. Do I think he'll be, a 10? Do I think he'll be a huge upgrade? That's yet to be seen. But I'm cautiously optimistic around Diontae Johnson and really hopeful that he can help this Texans offense really get back on track from what they've been the past couple of weeks. And speaking of this Texans offense, maybe he'll have a chance this Sunday because DeMeco Ryans, when asked about this Sunday's matchup after today's practice, this is what he had to say to reporters. He said, "Everybody has got to be ready to go, and we're going to evaluate that on game day." So according to DeMeco Ryans, it looks like the starters will be playing this Sunday up against the Titans. And if you watched my video yesterday, that's exactly what I said should be happening because this team has been in such a funk. I don't know if it's the smartest decision. Maybe I know injury-wise because the Texans have had a gauntlet of a season so far. But going in to the wild card round, I don't know if it's the smartest decision for this team to sit their starters in Week 18, being how bad they've played and how much they need to kind of still gel together, especially with new pieces like Diontae Johnson. Now, I know a lot of people's concern with the Texans playing their starters, especially from my video yesterday, was around CJ Stroud, quarterback 1, because he said it himself, he was a little banged up after that Ravens game. He's been, dealing with bumps and bruises along the season, as every NFL player does. But him being your star quarterback, a lot of people were wondering, will he sit out in Week 18? I don't think that'll be the case. He was practicing today. DeMeco said everybody's got to be ready to go, and I think that includes number 7, CJ Stroud, going into this Week 18 matchup. Another guy who should be back is Azeez Al-Shaair. Was back today at practice. First practice back from suspension. He served that 3-game suspension for the hit that he had on Trevor Lawrence. So good to see Agent Zero back on the field. The captain of this defense should bring a little bit of life, a little spark back to this defensive unit in time for the playoffs and Week 18 against his former team in the Tennessee Titans. Now coming up, some more news and notes from Texans practice and some interesting moves the Texans might make on the defensive side of the football. All that coming up, but I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsors over at Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long. It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs, and you can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. I know you're probably watching this video as the Monday Night Football matchup between the 49ers and Lions is going on, but this is what our 49ers host Chase Sr. has going in tonight's game. His lineup, Brock Purdy, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns up against this Lions defense, which has been a little bit susceptible to the passing game. I kind of like that play by Mr. Sr. Also, he went with George Kittle, more than 5 receptions, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown, more than 72.5 receiving yards. You can use those picks or maybe go against them. Just do it over on Prize Picks. And for my listeners, I have a special offer for you. Use code CLNS, and you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So get started today with our friends over at Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, we were talking about Azeez Al-Shaair coming back for this linebacking group, but looks like some moving around in the secondary once again. Kamari Lassiter this past week was, a little bit of a, testing out, feeling where this secondary needs to go after the injury to Jimmy Ward. They moved him to the nickel. Now it looks like they're going to move him right back outside to that outside corner along with Derek Stingley. And with that move, obviously you have to have somebody be that starting nickel, which is going to be Myles Bryant. He was working today as the starting nickel for this Texans defense. And it had me wondering, why the movement? Why is this going on? And the only thing I could rack my brain around is not that Kamari Lassiter was bad as the nickel, which, he actually got a safety up against the Baltimore Ravens. The only points the Texans scored on Christmas Day. I think this has more to say about Jeff Okudah and this Texans staff not trusting him to play on the outside, saying we'd rather have Myles Bryant at the nickel and Kamari Lassiter on the outside than have Kamari Lassiter on the inside and Jeff Okudah in the nickel. Now, it's a small sample size, only 78 snaps on the season, but the PFF grades are not pretty, and he is a bottom 5 corner. Yes, one of the 5 worst corners according to PFF this season. An overall grade of 30.8, a coverage grade of 29.3, tackling of 46.8, and a run defense grade of 66.7. Now, PFF isn't the end-all be-all, and I disagree with a lot of their scores from time to time. But what I've seen from Jeff Okudah hasn't been pretty either. He hasn't looked good. It's been burnt toast in the preseason, going to his snaps during the regular season, during training camp. I haven't seen a lot out of Jeff Okudah. And it's looking like the Texans' defensive staff isn't either, because they trust Myles Bryant over Jeff Okudah. That's why there's movement going on in the secondary, getting ready for the playoffs. And going back to the offensive side, because there might be movement on that side as well. On the front line, the offensive line, Scruggs, returning to practice today after being out for the past 3 games. Scruggs played 12 games on the year, 5 sacks allowed, has been starting at center, also starting at left guard since Kenyon Green got injured. I do wonder if they're going to go ahead and change things up around this offensive line with Scruggs coming back into the fold. Now, the other guard who was injured, Shaq Mason. He's still out with that knee injury, did not return to practice today. So I wonder if he'll even be available for Week 18 up against the Tennessee Titans, which unconsequential game in whenever you kind of look at it in a broader term. So I don't think Shaq Mason at all is going to be even a chance to play on Sunday. But as I look at this Texans offensive line depth chart, you know, you have Juice Scruggs back. You kicked Titus Howard into left guard. Blake Fisher's your starting right tackle. I don't know if Juice Scruggs gets back in the starting lineup. I think if he does, it's going to be replacing Jarrett Patterson. If anything, Kendrick Green at right guard, I think he's played okay. Maybe Juice Scruggs steps in at right guard, but I don't think that they're going to go ahead and put Juice Scruggs back at left guard. I think they're going to leave Titus Howard there. They're going to have Blake Fisher at the right tackle, and his only option is either going to be replacing Jarrett Patterson or Kendrick Green if he's going to be back in the starting lineup for the Texans on Sunday. That's all I have for you in today's show, folks. Make sure you hit that sub button. We just passed 23,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for joining along in my journey covering the Houston Texans. We are the #1 Texans channel here on YouTube for good reason, because we have amazing viewers just like you who make this all happen. So make sure to hit that sub button and keep up with our daily videos and watch party this Sunday for Texans versus Titans.